Hey there, you all. It is Maysha with As Long As You're Breathing. And long time no see, Scott. How you doing?
Very nice, very nice. Enjoy every conversation with you.
Oh, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Wow. And thank you to the 3 people who are watching. See what happens when you advertise a little bit. You actually have some people watching. Thank you all so much. And you know what we're going to say before we ever start, right?
As long as you're breathing, keep living. As long as you're breathing, keep living. As long as you're breathing, keep living. As long as you're breathing.
All right, Scott.
Now, have you been on since we last spoke?
No, I've made homemade chicken noodle soup and changed clothes. And oh, since we last spoke today, yeah, I've been on many times since we last spoke on here. But yeah, since we last spoke today, I've done tons of stuff. And you were working, so
It's always fun. I love trying to manage doing the 40 hours plus, and then trying to do all this work. But I'll tell you what, this is the work that gets you energized. This is the work that just makes it worthwhile.
it is. It is. And it is, we've got to tell, you know better than this, though, because energy management living. So you know that energy management is time management. So we got to fix all this for you. I mean, that whole 40 hours plus, and then this too, there's a better way. You know that, right?
Oh yeah. I'm in the process of putting my retirement papers in.
Yeah.
So that I can do this. The reason I was looking at this and just trying to plan it out. Now I don't know what time they have planned for me to be able to be doing this.
Right. Meaning your guides, of course.
My guides.
The universe,
Those
meaning yes.
That I'm directed to. I don't know what kind of time frame, but I'm putting it out there when I'm going to retire, so that everything just kind of aligns. And I want to be doing this work, speaking to you in the middle of the day, if it's possible, at the end of the day, but also being able to constantly do what I love, and that is teach. That is to, as you say, change the world, change the energy of the world, raise the vibration higher, so that more people can benefit from everything that we do in the healing modalities.
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful thing.
That is the beautiful thing. And everyone, that's what we're talking about now is energy management living. And so that's what Scott and I just went right into, is the fact that whenever you use energy management, it takes your self-care and it stops being boxes that you tick off. It stops being, well, I brushed my teeth, I did my exercise, I set my boundaries today. It stops being all of that. And it becomes that you're living from the place of what your gratitude actually is for. It's a place of living from your heart space where you're guided by your heart. And so you're truly grateful for everything that you're doing. So actually, all the stuff you have in your life is living in great big capital letters. And I absolutely know that's how it's meant to be. And I know that is, I know it's what we're meant to be here to do. And I know that is the energy that the planet is shifting into. And so that's what Scott and I are kind of talking about. And that's the transition, of course, that he's in, because we are practical. We realize that this is not magical thinking, that if we have been in one certain vibration, and that is what we have been attracting into our lives, then that is what is still coming in our lives. There's protons, electrons, neutrons. They don't stop on a dime, and I won't do that tonight. Well, I did it anyway, didn't I? So anyway, so they don't stop on a dime. But the truth of the matter is, it only takes, according to several sources, and I haven't timed it myself, but it only takes 17 seconds of being in a different energy to start those energies towards you. Now, you may have a whole bunch of stuff lined up in between that you already had coming your way, And so that's like the asteroid belt that you have to maneuver through. People think that the universe tests them. No, you're not tested. Those are things you already have coming your way. And so you just have to maintain your vibrational frequency that you have chosen to be in while those still come towards you. That's why you have to know yourself. And you have to know that you know that you know that this is my parameters. This is me. And so when those things come, don't feel tested. Be like, wonder how many more there are. Hold on, I can see out there. There's the next wave coming, and none of that's in there. And just hold on for the ride, go through it, and just be grateful that it's almost over, and stay in your vibrational frequency. And you are going to pull into you a whole new life. And it only takes 17 seconds of thinking about something to do that. But 17 seconds of thinking the other way, well, it does the same thing. It starts the stuff coming your way too. So we have to stay consciously aware. That's why we have to live in the vibrational frequency of our energy management. That is why it becomes the way we live. But when it becomes the way we live, everything we're attracting in is what we want and what we're supposed to have. And so it's not a chore that you check off a list. It's your living. It's your living in great big capital letters and all excited and all of that. So I know that's why Scott is putting the energy out there. And it's what he said. I'm putting the energy out there. I'm retiring so he can get the universe ramped up. So that's what they're sending to him is this is for your retirement. Here it comes, and get out of the asteroid belt and all of that stuff. So what do you got to say about that, Scott?
Really? So you want, I'm glad you took a breath.
It's the first one today, as you know. Actually, I did well today. I was pretty darn glad, I thought.
You did very, very well. We're in a course together, and we're on Zoom, and she was very, very quiet for most of it. And I was very proud of her that she just took it all in. It was
Take it all in,
really
yeah.
well done.
Except the dance party. Now I was having fun during the dance party. Now that was
Well,
great.
it was hard. And I haven't danced like that in a while. You get to a certain point in life, and we should, but we don't go out to dance.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, what is in my asteroid field right now are people who don't. No, what's coming in, it's got to be somebody who dances, or my parameters are set where they just need to keep going, because my expectation list is I will not be with another man that will not dance with me. That's on my list. It's there. And, the parameter is there. You won't dance with me, you got the wrong girl, mister.
That's about joy. You talk about vibration. People are looking for happiness.
Yes.
And they talk about, I want to find happiness. Happiness is not something you buy at the store. Happiness is not something that is an end result. Happiness is about being present in that very moment and having that just joyous feeling of doing what you love, of being who you are, of knowing that it's right. And that's when we get into abundance. I'm writing a piece right now for abundance. It's a collaboration. And I said to Jen Pacino, I said, abundance. She says, but how you define it? How do you define abundance? And I'm thinking about that. And what drove me for years and years and years was I found the tool of gratitude. Truly, gratitude. I was at such a low point in my life that I went to a meeting, an Al-Anon meeting, and it was on the 4th step, and they said, name 3 things that you were grateful for. And at that very moment in my life, nothing. I couldn't come up. I couldn't feel grateful. I had no gratitude in my life. My life was in such turmoil that I couldn't think of anything that I was grateful for. Now, I had a wife. I had 3 daughters. I had a house. I had cars. I had a job. I had all of that. And none of that brought me joy. I went and I studied, and I went every week. And I finally understood what gratitude truly means. Being able to wake up the next morning, because there are those who don't. Being able to breathe, because there are those that have such difficulty. Being able to turn over and see your loved ones and have them not be in pain, not be with any diseases, but that they were safe, that we were in a safe place, that we had a roof over our head, that we had heat, that we had plenty of food, that all of those things were there. But it's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of vibration. It's a matter of being able to see that for what it truly is.
Yeah.
Now, I've told the story about when I traveled to the Far East. I had done Cambodia, Thailand, and Vietnam with a buddy of mine. It was absolutely stunning, and I would tell everybody, go to Vietnam. It is Hoi An, Vietnam is basically San Diego of Vietnam. It is
really?
absolutely stunning. The beaches are stunning. It is just absolutely amazing. I could live there. But anyway, in the next year, I took my girlfriend to Singapore and Malaysia.
Cool.
Now, where we're in the Malaysian highlands, they took us to an indigenous village. Now, no doors, no windows, dirt floors, chickens running around, dogs. This was the people that had lived there for generations. And they didn't speak the language. We came in, I'm sure they paid them something in order for us to stop there. And my girlfriend, who was an empath, was so kind of overwhelmed that she went back to the bus. She just was so upset that she saw people living at this level. As we got back on the bus, two of the gentlemen that was sitting next to us, he had lived in rural China. He had lived in Asia. He'd lived in South America. And I asked him, how many people in the world live just like that? And he said, a good 65, 70%.
Yeah.
It made her realize how lucky we are. And it just brings back to the point that here in the US, when we are looking at what we don't have, that we don't have the Lamborghini in the driveway, that we don't have the 27-room house, that we don't just fly off to Cabo just for the weekend, that somehow we're less. When perspective is, we have so much that most of the people in the world don't have. Running water. Don't take it for granted. My best friend's younger brother went to Africa and dug a well and dug a sewer treatment plant and to be able to treat wastewater. It was the first time that village in all of its existence had well water, that they didn't have to walk 2 miles back, 2 miles walk with water, 2 miles down, 2 miles back in order to get it. It changed the entire lifestyle of that village by being able to build that well. At the end of, I don't know if you remember West Wing, I was a devoted fan. And at the very last episode, a gentleman comes and offers one of the characters the job of a lifetime, but it wasn't sexy because he wanted her to go to Africa to build roads and to build wells, because it's the two things that they don't have is paved roads and water and all of that. And I look at that and you say, my goodness, we have this outside. We have it. I can turn water on it and tap. So perspective on where we are, how we are, what we do, what we have. It's all a matter of how you look at things and how much gratitude you have in your heart, and understanding that how blessed you are.
Yes. Yes. When we approach, and it's not that either one of us are against big lives or big living. We're not saying that at all.
Lord, no.
No, but whenever we start with gratitude, what we're really doing is we're understanding, we edit out of our lives everything that doesn't belong there. So we have the room to have the most gratitude possible for the things that do belong there. And that's no matter how big or small your life is. But big lives require that you be able to manage all of that gratitude and do that. And so often the thing is, we have big lives, many of us do big lives, and we're comparing them to everyone else's, and like, well, that's less than they've got, or that's less than they've got. And we don't realize how big the lives are. And the fact that we are not quote unquote happy is because our lives have gotten so big that we don't have the things that we just really can't put the gratitude into. And now once we can do that, once we get that part down, then how big our lives can get, well, that all stems from you're continuing to stay in that vibration of gratitude. Your life can get huge then, and you can be the happiest person in the world. But if your life is huge and you're not able to get into the energy of gratitude, then you're a miserable person. So that goes back to the saying, happiness isn't a way of life, it's a way to make the journey. That is absolutely true. Find happiness first, edit everything out, find happiness, then build the bigger life. But if you don't go to that point, if you don't get to the point where, okay, this is my world, this is my life, I'm not good with it, and start editing out, because like I said, you can't stop the planet. I mean, we can take a pause, we can take a breath and calm ourselves. We can take a pause like that. But to really, we can't stop everything. So we have to start editing out and get us to the point where, okay, I've got gratitude for everything now. The things I finally have made room for, these are really the important things to me. And sometimes that's hard to do because people have got so much in their lives, and especially when it's the shoulds, when it's the things we should be doing. And well, you mean I'm supposed to edit out a should? If you're not happy, you are. Because
Not an easy task.
yeah, because that is the only fair thing to do to the other person, party, whatever. If it's a job and you're not happy there, I get you can't just leave the job until you've got another income, but that is not the right place for you if you're not happy, and you're doing them a favor by leaving, because if you're not in the right energy there, you're not doing the best job you can do. A relationship, we're like, well, I can't get a divorce. We've got kids. I grew up in one of those homes. I'm telling you, you're not doing those kids any favor, nor the other spouse, nor yourself. And all you're doing, you are setting the energy that tells your kids to grow up and be in the energy of, it doesn't matter if I'm happy or if I'm not happy. This is where I have to stay because that's what I know. You're putting that trauma in their lives that they're going to have to release. And then they themselves are going to, that's self-perpetuating. They're going to end up in a relationship at some point that they really want out of, but there's going to be some shoulds, and no matter what the shoulds are, and they're going to stay. And it's going to be, and you can tell them not to, but they're going to look back and they're like, you did. Because we are to model that which we're practice what we preach. We're to, but it is about, so show them, today it came up that, Lindy wants to work with the youth, which of course I think we need energy management 101 starting at least preschool, but we have to show children the right way to do things so they don't end up having all the things to release and progress from that we've had to. So their baseline can start out better than our baseline did. I mean, we've already got a planet that's in higher vibration. So now let's start out with the education that we didn't have. And let's not just say, do as I say, not as I do, but let's do it ourselves. Because we don't do it ourselves. So I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying, oh my God, don't worry about the kids. Of course you worry about the kids. Of course you make provision for the children or whatever it is. Like I said, you don't just leave the job because you hate it, unless of course you can afford to. But we are not doing, we think we are, we don't realize we're making martyrs of ourselves. We think we're doing the responsible thing. I'm doing the right thing. No, we're sacrificing ourselves. And we think the energy we're putting into that is creating all this good. Well, there's a lot of good coming from it, no doubt. But you're being inauthentic. And so all you're going to do, you think someday you'll get out of that too. No, because that's the energy you're still putting out. So guess what? All the way down the line, that's the energy that's going to be coming towards you. And you're going to be like, I'll get out of it someday. I'll get out of it. No, you won't. No, not until you stop shoulding. So until you stop shoulding yourself and become your authentic self and walk in that. Because you know what? Whether you do it or whether you don't do it, people think the same thing of you. Because I guarantee you this, everybody that you think you're doing it for, They know. The people that you work with, they know you don't belong there. They may not say it, but they know it. The people that you're staying with and you shouldn't be, you think they don't know? They know. Now, maybe they're glad you're staying because of what they're getting from it, but they know. And you think your friends around you don't know? Absolutely. And what do you think they talk about when you're not there? Why isn't she out of that? What is she doing to herself? Doesn't she? They know. So you're not kidding anyone. You think that you've got this beautiful life and it just looks this way. You aren't kidding anyone. They're just not being authentic around you and saying, listen, bud, what they always say, how many times do people say, what took you so long? What took you so long? That's what they say. So you're not fooling anyone, only martyring yourself. And so don't do that. Live your life in great big capital letters. Be who you authentically are. Because we can put on all the masks we want to, and we can fool some of the people some of the time. But the people that are closest to us, the people we really think we're fooling, if we spend any time with someone, the mask, they quickly start seeing through the mask. And especially in the vibration that we're moving into now, because people see through the false. I mean, we're all being given, our clair abilities are going up. You're not going to fool people. So you're only martyring yourself.
Wow. So I want to expound on that a little bit.
I thought you would.
Well, because I lived that life for so many years, and the shoulds and the shoulds and the shoulds, and what the shoulds became was armor that I was carrying around. It became very dense, very thick. That armor that I carried with me, because I should be doing all of these things, and the army grew and it got thicker, and I always wondered why can't people approach me? Why don't I feel close to people? Why don't I? Because I'm carrying around so much shoulds on my shoulders that I can't deal with anything else. I had no energy because of all the weight that I was carrying. After my wife passed, I was in therapy for 5 years. By the way, she was wonderful. She called me on my shit all the time. Never let me coast. Always had me going after it, which is why I kept going. Sometimes with that sick feeling in my stomach going, she's going to hammer me today. Because
I don't like her already.
because of where I was and unattached from the heart and the head. Yeah. I had all of this armor, but it protected my heart. All the walls that I had put up, I couldn't get back over. It was for defense, but I couldn't get back over them anymore.
Right.
And so what happened was, layer by layer by layer by layer by layer, all of this came off. All of this came off. The walls that I could not scale came down further and further and further. And I found out I actually had emotions.
Yeah.
15 years ago, if you'd asked me, how do you feel about that? I would go, yeah, whatever. Now, if you said, what do you think about that? I could talk to you for 2 hours. There was no relationship between heart and head. There was no understanding that I had those emotions. And if any emotions came up, I just kind of, nope, can't deal with those. No, those are bad. Those are emotions. I might cry. Can you imagine a grown man crying? I might feel bad. I might get angry. Oh, don't ever get angry. Don't ever get angry, because you might say something.
Yeah. You might say something true.
Well, in a not so nice way, yes, you would be saying the truth, but it would be, it would be caustic. It would be hurtful. It would be with venom. And I was taught never to do that.
Sure.
So with all of that in there, it just came out, and it scared the hell out of me. Absolutely scared the hell out of me, because I didn't know what they were. Those emotions coming out, they were popping up all over the place. But what I realized when all the armor came off, when all of that came on, and I dealt with everything, is that heart center, I was stronger than I had ever been in my life. I had the ability to walk into any situation, talk to anyone, and I was powerful. I had no fear. All my fear went away after everything I had put on and been wearing for so long. That armor, those huge walls that were there to protect and do all of that. I was so much stronger, so much more worthy of going into battle, everyday battle, because that center right here was glowing brightly. I could see it. I saw it manifest. I saw it grow from this tiny little ball in my heart to this huge ball in the center of myself. And I talk about going to Far East, and that's when I found out I was an accidental Buddhist, because Western religion, God is outside of you. Eastern religion, God is within. And I found out, and I realized right here, we all have God within us.
Yeah.
And with that, we have the ability to do incredible, amazing, over the top, unbelievable things you had never. I've done things in the last year that I never thought possible. One, that I was capable of. Two, or that I would just absolutely love. And that is the energetic healing that I do with people, the difference I've made in lives, and the healing that I've been able to allow people to do within themselves.
Right. Well, all of that armor you were wearing, of course, that just kept you down in the denser energies because it's heavy. And it's like yeah. And so that set you up there for it to be hard. And then of course you had all the societal expectations, all the programming. So you had the mind to transcend and all of that. But what would you say? Because we can talk all day long about what the problems are. We know what the problems are. What would you say gave you the ability to do it? Now, I know you equate it to going to this meeting and learning gratitude. I know that, but
that was 25 years ago, 26 years ago. And that was just that kernel, that nugget that started me to be able to appreciate life, appreciate the life that I had. I'd lost my daughter my youngest daughter when she was 13 years old. I lost my wife when we had been married for 39 years. And so I was the caregiver. I took care of everything. And that was my role. That is what it took absolutely everything that I had in order to keep things going and to take care of my wife. And when she passed, a year went by, and that year is just gone. I don't remember, honestly, all that much about it. But I went and I realized that I needed so very little. And I had so much. I had to get rid of a house of stuff. My wife loved to collect, so there was never one of anything. It was at least 10. And so it was making sure they were put in the right place, giving honor to her, giving honor to what she had collected, what she cared about, all of those things. And then I found out I had to start taking care of me.
Yeah.
And that was that turning point, that little click. And I found, for me, it was Reiki and understanding that there was that much energy. I used to do healings for people, and I never knew. I just did them unconsciously. Someone would have a headache, and I'd say, I can kind of alleviate that for you. And they'd look at me funny. I'd say, do you have a second? And I would just, okay. And they go, I don't know how you did that, but I don't have a headache anymore. Okay. So because I was with my wife, and I would try to alleviate her suffering. And I just did it without knowing anything. And then I realized the energy that it was there.
It's the
But I
energy.
had to, but I then knew I had to be clear for myself in order for me to clear anybody else. I had to not accept their pain. I didn't, in order to take it from people, I didn't need to accept it myself and stay in clear energy. And with all of that, it started with that little kernel. I always go back to gratitude, which brings me to joy in life, being present, and then brings me to abundance.
What I tell people is so much of what you said there. What I tell people is, first and foremost, when we look at the world, we have to decide, how do we want to be treated in the world? And then we have to treat ourselves that way. But then we have to show up in the world. The next step is, because we've gotten really good here at telling people, you've got to take care of yourself. We've gotten really good at that.
Yep.
But then when you stop there, you're going to find that you've got a very limited, walled up life, because taking care of yourself, that's, if you stop there, all you're doing is putting up walls and boundaries and constantly, you're got the flag up on the hill and don't come up my hill because you want something from me and I don't have it to give to you, et cetera, et cetera. And that's not living. That's defending your territory. And that's, is that really, if you sat down and you went within, is that really what on your, when you transitioned, you want to be, damn, I defended my territory. Is that really what no, that's not it. The problem is when we stop at that, we stopped at, okay, this is the roles in life that I've got, and I'm defending this role and I'm defending that role. And we've missed the whole point. The whole point of taking care of ourselves is to then become ourselves and show up in the world that way, and refuse to take on a role. Because all the things you were talking about, and of course we're in a different consciousness, and of course we do what we have to do at the time and all of those things.
Lord, yeah.
Yeah, but all of the things that you were talking about, you did them filling the role. You kept talking about the role. And the way to do all things is to only accept the role that you're already tailor-made for. Like the actor, you see some actors that they can stretch and they can perform any type. You see them in this film and they're that. You see them and they're great. They can play any role. But then you've got the actor that every film you see them in, you're like, well, it's the same role he played in the last one. Different part, different country, different. But it's the same. Well, in all honesty, that doesn't make us good actors. But guess what? Living's not supposed to be acting. The good actors are supposed to take on roles. But living, that is where every role you're in, people are like, man, it's always the same. They're always the same. They're always the same. Now, because you were able to sustain those roles, there's a part of you that knew that. And you showed up as you in all of those. But you had all the shoulds going on in your life too. And so that's where the armor was. But a huge part of you was that person. So I'm sure now that you could look back and you could say, I wish I had done it differently. I wish this had been different, that had been different, or whatever. But because I know you were not unhappy all those years from how you're talking, I know that you can say of yourself that you can see where those roles in large part were the authentic you. And so that is why I say that we're not, I've talked about it today in the marathon that we were in today, that I want us to get away from using the word healing. I want us to use healing when it's healing we're doing. Because if someone told you, Scott, wow, let's heal you from all of that. Let's release that and heal it. No, you have so much there to be proud of. You've got things there to progress from. And now you're at a different level of consciousness. You're on a different timeline. You want to go down your timeline and all of those things, but you don't need to heal all that. You need to recognize what it was and recognize, okay, even the things that still exist now, which ones of those things, even though they may still be good, do I want to put my energy in, or which ones of those things do I need to move my energy here to so I can progress and do this, this, and this? Because it's not about roles we fill, but roles we have felt that we have filled do not make us having been bad people. I mean, we've done good things in those roles. So we don't have our whole lives to heal from. There's nothing to be ashamed of. There's no, oh my God, I've been stuck my whole life. I've done this all wrong. No. And so we can't do labels like that. We can't. And it's so important that people who come to us and talk to us know that we're not going to tell them, well, you have really effed up your life and here's the way to do it. No, you've done an amazing job with your life at the level of consciousness you had. And so let's look at what's in your life that you love. Let's look at who you are. Let's determine that. Let's determine what character are you here to be, that you're here to be. And then let's look at the roles you're in and let's determine there's some things to edit out of that role. Okay, I love being this, but this part of that does not fit with me. So you edit that. And then the role becomes the one that's tailor-made for you and not you stepping into a role that the world has defined for you. So we're not talking about people, I say we can't stop the world and get off and fix all this. It's because we don't need to do that. We haven't effed up our lives that badly, folks, but we do have things in them that we need to understand and course correct on. And course correcting does not require that we bash everything we ever did or that we stop the world or any of that. Now, do we have some big things? Yes, there are always going to be, for somebody somewhere, something big that has happened that they need to heal from. So those things are going to exist. And so those things I give full honor to. And yes, we need to heal those. We need to take care of those traumas. But we can't make it sound like, oh yeah, come into energy management, come into our world, come into higher vibrational, less dense thinking, and your world is just crap the way it is. And no, it's about taking what you've already got and making it everything that it can be and is supposed to be, and that you're deciding it's going to be. That's all we're saying. And unfortunately, it's not. We don't communicate it that way. We communicate it like how we can help people, how we can show people, this is the way to make you. No, we're just here to help you find the real you, and then look at things and figure out, okay, how do I love this about I love my family. I don't have a problem with my family, but I need that role tweaked because those parts of that role are not authentic to me. And so we're not saying that everybody who goes through energetic awakening and decides that, wow, I've got some roles here I don't like, that means they're going to turn everything up topsy-turvy and heal from this awful life they've lived. We're not saying that at all. Now, it could be the case with someone. I know it was my case at a few points in life, but that is not always the case. And so for those that it is the case, this works. It happens. It's kind of hard to do, and no, you can't stop the planet, but you sure wish you could. But for those people out there who are like, my life isn't, but I'm relating to a lot of what they're saying, but I don't want to throw everything away that's in my life. Well, we're not saying do that, but too often that's what our vernacular sounds like, I think.
It does, and you're right. And we've talked about this, about the language.
Yeah.
The language and how to put the vernacular properly so that people understand, yeah. And they don't get triggered. They don't get a misconception or saying, now when I say I help heal people, I allow them, yeah. In my practice, I put them in a place to allow them to be able to be a better self.
Yes.
Plain and simple. They come to me and ask me for that. Tell me how. Show me how. What can I do too? What can I do? How can I do this? And they're asking me because they come to me with sometimes particular problems, and sometimes it's just a general, I can't deal with this, stop the world, I want to get off. Been there, done that. And fortunately, the bills have to get paid. The sun comes up the next morning, the things have to get done. You have to eat, you have to sleep. You just can't get it to stop, no matter where you are in your life. But those are those things that I see, and it's about giving people the tools to be able
Yes.
We can't do it for anyone. I mean, there are days when it's hard for us, no matter where we are, where we want to be and how we want to do it. And we talked about, just words. And we were talking today. We know a lot of people and they're coaching and they're doing that. And I just have never really thought of myself as a coach.
Me either.
You
Although we
teacher.
are now certified in everything.
I'm certified and everything.
Certified
I
in
don't know.
everything.
Do we get a diploma? I'm
We
not
do
sure.
in the mail. In the mail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we get one in the mail.
But it's more of a guide. It's more of a teacher. It's more of showing people, here is a path that you can follow if you choose to. Here is a way that you can live a better life. Here's a way that you can be more present in your life for yourself. And therefore, when we talk about relationships, if you are more aware and present, and instead of watching television, you go and you have a discussion with your spouse, instead of putting your energy into things that, amusing ourselves to death, that take time away from where we could, should have, want to be, to those things that make us better, that allow us to be better. I want to just make one point on that, because it's about rituals, and we talk about habits. Now, habits, the habit mind, and you do things, you don't think about it, you just kind of do it, and
Right.
you kind of go through it. And geez, at 5:15, I have to get up, and I have to do this and I have to do that. But I found that when you take it to rituals, you bring habits and you turn them slightly, and you become present within what you're actually doing.
You become present.
There is thought about what you're doing. Every day I do, virtually every day I do yoga. I can't say absolutely every day because I've missed it once in a while, but I do yoga, and I do the meditations before I do that, and I do meditation afterwards. And it's for me to be present in doing that. And
You're living it. You're not doing the action because you're supposed to. You are living it. So it's not habit. It is ritual. And ritual is when we are grounding something. Ritual is being present. That is what ritual is for. So you have nailed
being present in
it.
what we're doing, and being aware, and the insights in just doing that and being present. I have about a half an hour that I do every morning. And do I have to get up earlier to do it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because when my alarm hasn't gone off, I haven't been able to do it. And my day starts off not as good as I really want it to.
Wrong energy. You start off in the wrong energy. And so you have to
lower energy. And I can't boost that up there that quick. I mean, there are ways to do that, but that we've learned those tricks. But it's not the way we prefer to do it. And
because it has other benefits. It has other benefits. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's, if those watching don't understand something, this young lady has been going at this level since she woke up this morning. Okay. She will be at this level if she decides that she's going to go to sleep tonight. She is energy personified, and it is nonstop. Now, you think she talks fast now. When she really gets going, that's fast. But if you just allow her to hear what she has to say, how she has to say it, there is so much honor in it. There is so much truth in it. There is so much knowledge in it. There are times you're talking and I just kind of want to grab them, grab that and kind of keep that, because it goes by so fast. I just want to be able to look at it for a little while. You know what I mean?
It's recorded.
Yes, one of the few saving graces. I agree with you. But it's just because it's so rapid fire. And I love that people come and are letting you know that I came on a little bit late and that you were late, because they just are looking for that, and that is such a wonderful gift that people want to hear. People want to take the time to be able to listen to you and understand you, and that is a gift. And you have been a mentor, as I noticed. We were in a group of 10 people today.
10, 11, something like that. Yeah.
And there was that mentoring that you did with each and every person there, which I thought was absolutely amazing. No matter wherever they were, or what modality they were talking about, or whatever, it was energy management in their life and how they can do it, and how they can do it and allow themselves to serve their clients better, to be able to do all of that. That's very impressive.
And I said it concisely too. I didn't take long to say. Anyway,
yes,
I am capable of that. I'm quite capable of it, actually, because in the world I was in, you had to. But I also come from a world where I did so much teaching to adult learners, and they received it in so many different ways. So you had to give it all in so many different ways. So I get excited, and then it's this way, and then it's that way, and then it's this way, to try to get everyone to understand. But yeah, when I'm dealing with a single, I can be concise, and I can slow down and not rapid fire too, but I do get excited about it. My friend Sherry, I channel to her. She's the business mentor we were talking about today so often, the one that's going to, and so I channel to her all the time, and she's just like, hold on, and she's like, okay, go. And she's like, I just love when you're like this, just go. And she's just, and of course I have other people in that world that I a channel for as well. And so channeling does that too, though. When you're channeling, and people have to understand that as well, when you are channeling, they're giving it to you so fast that that's why I say I'm not a coach, because I channel for people. Many people who come to someone like us, they expect to come and I want to know about my life with grandma back in the whatever, and do you know my favorite color? And is my husband cheating on me? And, they've got this list of stuff. And I look at them and I'm like, I have clear abilities out the wazoo, but I'm not a psychic. That's not what I do. So you start talking, and then my guides will start channeling to me for what is your best and highest good. And that's all they're going to give me. So we can tell them what you want to know about, and we can put it up there. But if it's not best and highest good, I don't get it, because that's how I work. Now, there are people who they've honed their gifts so that what they can do is, and your favorite color is, and you did that. I don't do that, because I don't want to know anything I'm not supposed to know. I only want best and highest good. But when that starts, I tell them, now, one, I'm going to say it the way they say it to me, because it's too fast for me to sugarcoat it. So if I say, and you need to do this, that's not me telling you need to do that. That is how it's coming to me. I want you later to take it and do with it whatever resonates with you. But if they say, and she needs to do this, then it's going to come out. And you need to do this, because so much of what I'm doing is channeling. But I now know I've been channeling my whole life. All of that was coming to me my whole life. I didn't know where it was coming from. I've been teaching and doing this stuff for years, and I would get done, and I'm like, where in the world did that come from? I haven't, and now I know I've been channeling my whole life. And so people think I've been rapid firing my whole life. No, that's how fast it comes. And if you stop it, then you break the flow of it, and you don't get people what it is they're supposed to hear. So yes, but then whenever I do, I did some channeling at the end today, and you notice I stopped and I just listened, and then I said what I could remember. I didn't just boo, 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 because we were all tired, for one thing, but I didn't want anybody to go, what is she doing? Although there would have been people there who know. Diana saw immediately, and I knew she was like, oh, here we go. I could see it on her face, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. But that is the difference. I'm very well aware of how I communicate, and so people that I do help, I do tell them up front. But that's also a reason why I'm not meant to be an individual coach, and why I'm meant to do what it is I do. I either work with like someone like Diana, who's got a program like that she needs, I need it channeled to me. How does this need? And they don't tell her, they don't say, do it this way, this way, this way. It's, they open you up to the field of possibility and all of that. And so, or I'm to get the bulk of the content of and the gist of what we're saying out to the masses. That is my role. And so for me to stop and deal one-on-one and individually with people, I have to dial everything back, and
Way back.
I have to dial it way back. And that's not comfortable for me because I'm so used to channeling and I'm so used to everything coming free flow. So when I have to dial it back that way, it's like, okay, then I start second guessing myself. And okay, is that me saying that? Or is that what's coming that's best and highest good for them? But I'm very well aware. I'm aware of how people perceive me. And that's why, and it doesn't bother me because the people I'm supposed to attract to me, I will attract to me. And the people that it's like, whoa, then they're not in alignment with me, and they don't need to be here because one, I don't need the criticism, and two, they don't need to put time somewhere that is not beneficial to them. So right, yeah, and their best and highest good. So yes, I'm very well aware of how I come across and my energy and all that, but thank you for the kind words. But I am capable, as you saw, of dialing it back and giving one. I'm very capable of it. It's just it's not
easy.
It's not the sweet spot for me. The sweet spot for me is here's the whole bulk of it. Now other people take and do something with that. I've given you the encyclopedia on it. Now you go and run with your part of it. You go running with your part of it, and you go run with your part of it. Well, I get the next volume of the encyclopedia. That is my role, and I know that, and I'm good with it. It's just in this world that's harder to in any place it's kind of harder to make your mark, but especially in the kind of thing that we do. It is, but I'm not about making a mark either. I'm just about helping, and so if we have one person watching, or if we have 3, if we get 100, if we get 1,000, I'm doing what I'm meant to do. And so
and the wonderful thing is this is recorded. This is for posterity, so people can click on it afterwards to be able to hear this.
yes.
And hear your words. When I was doing a modality called Rise, we were talking about people when they have become clear, and when they receive gifts, that some they use for themselves, but for others it's to heal the world. They are world healers. And I was always curious about what that meant, because I would go through Reiki, and I would send it all the way around. I would take half an hour, and I would just send it to everybody that I knew I didn't know in every direction. I was just sending healing to the world. I never knew if it manifested itself in any way. There was no feedback. It was, you just send it out, and it's when we get into people who are in faith, it's praying basically. It's the
what
power
we're doing. That is what we're doing. Yes, we are faith healers, because it is all about belief or setting intention.
Yep.
And so it is setting the intention, and healer because we are making a change. So I like to say that we are progressive intention setters. I told you I'm going to change the vernacular.
Wow. Okay, that is a mouthful.
We are not progressive, but progression intention setters. Yeah, because that way then the people who aren't religious or who are turned off by religion or whatever, they don't hear faith. They don't hear, and people who don't want their lives all healed, they don't hear heal. And so it really is a matter of people understanding what we're saying. But yeah, when it comes down to it, I mean, ancestral clearing. Have you listened to what ancestral clearing is? It's a prayer. It's a prayer.
Yeah. Pray, plain and simple.
Yeah, so somebody asked me once, so what is this stuff you do? And I looked at them and I said, I'm a faith healer. Oh, because it was a poem. And they're like, oh, okay, I didn't think that's what you were into now. And I said, totally, I'm a faith healer. And I did not lie. And so I just kept walking and thought they can deal with that. They understand on that. That is their level of consciousness. That is where their understanding is at. And so instead of me trying to explain and then them being all blown up and, oh my God, Jenny's daughter's doing this, and oh, how's she I'm a faith healer because it's what we are. You know.
Yeah, I've talked to people, and they said, well, I really want to get into it, but we're Catholic, and so we can't really do
Oh
that. I'm
my.
like, hold on a second. I was talking to a friend of mine. She said, well, my husband's very religious. I said, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, you know that doing this, you're closer to God. What? And when you're dealing with energy, you're dealing with prayer, because that's what prayer is positive energy. She
Yes.
went, oh, oh, I never thought of it
Oh.
that way. And so she approached her husband and said, I want to go and do more of this, to get closer to God. I want to pray. And he's like, yes, absolutely, go for it. And so she was able to go into and study and do more, even though it wasn't in a church setting, even though it wasn't by pastors or clergy.
Right.
And it's there's only so many things that are in this world. When we talk about vibration, it is painted in so many different ways
Mm-hmm.
of how all if you talk about different modalities, whether it's Reiki or massage or you go through all of them, and they're dealing with, there's only so many parts of the human body, there's only so many energy systems, there's only so many ways that energy can we have this construct of 3D, our 3D body rather than our 5D, but 3D body. And so it's described in different ways depending on where you were grown up, what religion you went through, where you live in the world, what your neighborhood said, all of those constructs. But it's just a different way of saying the same thing. And I love the fact that you are changing the vocabulary so that people can fully understand without preconceived notions. And that's truly what you're trying to do, is
Yeah.
take the preconceived notions out of it,
Yes.
because there are bias with words that we
Yes.
use.
What you just said about all the modalities, that comes down to, that's what makes this all so simple if you just stop and look at that. Every modality that was represented today, and God knows how many. I mean, those people started rattling off all the things they were certified in. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go make another cup of hot tea. I mean, not because I was bored, but because I know they have got certifications at the yin yang. Every one of those modalities, though, they move energy. And it all comes down to, Scott, we are energetic beings with energetic bodies, and we were not taught that, and we didn't know how to care for them. And so we have stuck energy. That is where our health problems come from: mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. And we don't know that. We're band-aiding them with what, at our level of consciousness, we knew to do. When we learn how to move the energy, we change that. And then the other thing is, once we understand that we have these energetic bodies, our whole concept of self-care then changes, because it truly has to become living as an energetic being and understanding what energy management is. And we use the word gratitude, but it comes down to, where do you really want to put your energy? Now, gratitude is a high vibrational way of, it's a less dense way. It is a conscious way of determining where we're going to put our energy. But you're determining where you want to put your energy when you are in the lowest, most dense emotion that there is. At that moment, you're determining then where to put your energy. So,
Yep.
but when we couch it in the terminology of gratitude, then we automatically raise it up immediately. We just by saying, address it as gratitude, we automatically set the bar right there. That's the bottom end. The bottom end is gratitude, and so we already take it up to a less dense energy when we put people in that frame of thinking, when we shift the mind because the mind will be like, oh, gratitude, yeah, I've heard of that. We've known about that for years. We know about that, and yeah, I get that. And yeah, gratitude is a good thing to have. And so the mind, I mean, we just trick that living daylights out of the mind. Talk about transcend the mind. It's like I'm on board this gratitude stuff. Yeah, and it's impressive too. People like it when you talk gratitude. I mean, the mind is so easy once we understand. The mind is about making us look good in front of other people. The mind is about making sure that we're safe, we're physically safe. The mind is about making sure we've got all the things we're supposed to have. And that, so once we understand that and we can, okay, listen, mind, we're going to look damn good doing this gratitude stuff. Oh, I'm on board with that. And then the mind is on board then. We've shifted it. So, yeah, so that is very much about what I'm all about, is making sure that we use the right vernacular so that the mind itself, I mean, let's think about it. If somebody's programmed anti-religion, some of the things we say, we shut them down immediately. Mm-hmm. If some people are highly just scientific, some of the stuff we say, we shut them down immediately. But if some of the people that are anti all of those things, the things we say shut them down immediately. So we have to have a neutral vernacular for all of this, so that we are being precise and clear, and we're not hitting on people's preconceived notions. And since the world didn't know that we were in energetic bodies to begin with, and since that's my starting point, I figure I get to set what the vernacular is for it. And it's not like the world didn't know. It's certainly out there, but you know what I'm saying. The world that I'm playing in, the sandbox I'm playing in, the sandbox
all the way around.
Right, the sandbox I'm playing in, and so that's the goal there. But you mentioned so many things when you were talking about we can't fix people. I mean, oh my gosh, the rabbit hole we can go down there, because we have to respect where people are, and who are we to say what fixed is for them anyway? We know what we want, but we cannot manifest somebody to be what we want. And we don't want them in our lives if we manifest them into something that they don't want to be. So, yeah. And so that's a whole thing too. The way we talk about things, it almost sounds like we sound like we're magical thinking, I'm going to manifest the perfect partner for me. We make it sound like, well, you put the energy out there of who you are, and then that person comes. But the way we say it, it sounds like, well, it's scripting. We talk about scripting to manifest the perfect partner. And it sounds so magical thinking. I mean, you'll see him on YouTube holding up. She wrote down exactly what she wanted, and the next day he was there, and, employed there. And everybody in the world is like writing down, and I want him to do that. I want him to have a job, and I want him to have a car, and I want him to dance with me, And that's not what it's doing at all. Scripting is taking when you know what you want and who you are, your expectations of, this is how I show up in the world. And so in my dimension of relationship, this is what I know will match with me. And you are grounding that. That's all scripting is. And that is another way of putting the energy out there so that that's what comes to you. But if you look on the internet, it looks like, what are they talking about? Scripting. You can't just write it down and get it. No, you didn't just write it down and get it. You did all those other things I said too. There's no magical thinking here. This isn't mumbo jumbo. This is energy. It's all energy. And so if we can take it and turn it into that and get people to just manage your energetic body, your energetic existence, that we didn't even talk about having, that we didn't know we had. And if the few people who did, well, they were crazy people. So you don't listen to them, or we burn them all at the stake or something of that nature, Once we get past that, and we can't get past it if the language we're using to do it is going to shut them down before we get there. Exactly. And my mom is General Baptist. I talked about it some today. My mom is Baptist. So here I am standing, she's the one that opens the church doors. Okay. She's not there every time they're open. She's the one with the key that opens the door. All right. And my stepdad, he built that church. That's who she is. But I can be at my mom's and talking this stuff, and my mom gets it. My mom gets it. And she's like, oh, yeah. And she'll tell her friends, she'll be like, so your hip's hurting. She'll say, Maysha She'll look at me, she'll look back, she'll pray for you. You know, she'll pray for you. You know, and she'll look back at me, and I'm like, and she's like, and then if she knows them well, you know, which she knows everybody, she'll say, and she's gonna talk to some angels too, because she knows it's okay to talk. And they're like, oh, angels. You know, they're all over it. And so her friends, yeah, you know, it works out great. And I'm not making fun. I'm saying it's meeting people where they're at, what their level of consciousness is. And a level of consciousness is not somebody's below you, somebody's above you. It's none of that at all. The level of consciousness is just what we understand, or where we are at in terms of understanding. And the baseline of all of that is, what do you understand about your existence, which is energy? And so that's what the whole level of consciousness is. That's why I've changed it from spiritual awakening to energetic awakening, because we're not waking up to anything spiritual. We're waking up to, we are energy.
Energy. It's plain and simple.
And if you want to be spiritual about it, if you want to be religious about it, I understand that, and I can explain that to you. And we can talk about the dimensions, and we can bring in the angels, and we can do, because I work with all of them. But if you're, you know, sci-fi and you want to talk about the galactics, I can bring those in too, and we'll talk about them, because they're just another dimension of energy. You know, it's, you know, and do they have a starship? Well, I don't know, but if you want, we'll channel and ask them. You know, I mean, and they'll answer us if it's for our best and highest good. You know, and so it really, and if you want to just talk energy, if you're a scientist and it has got to just be energy, okay, let's talk about that. We are energetic beings, and this is how energy works. And they'll be, yeah, that is how it works. All right. And so you can talk to anybody about this if you will get rid of the things that are, as you say, going to trigger them. If you will do that, and like today, I was so grateful that none of them took it offensive when I said, okay, my role is actually to take this world, all of you, and everything you're doing, and add the layer on, you know, bring the level, right, bring the level of consciousness of the fact that all of this is energy management. And that is my role. You know, I mean, that is my role, is to take everything that everybody's doing, all these modalities they're doing, and get them to see you're moving energy. And this is why. You're moving energy, and this is why. And you're moving energy, and this is why. And I have great respect for it, because I don't have all those certifications, don't want all those certifications, because I know moving energy is the intention. You know, I use light rays. Right. I use light rays. I use ritual. I use ritual because ritual grounds it. So I use meditation and visualization, and I bring in the lights, because the lights for me are ritualistic, and they help me focus and center. And I know what all that is. And we are energy, and the lights are light rays. And so, but so I use ritual too. And I work with the different dimensions. And so I personify them as I know them to be personified. But for somebody else, they may be Molar and Curly, and that's okay. You know, whatever your dimensional contacts are named is what they're named. But we are human beings, and we relate to things by personification. So what those dimensions really look like, I don't know. I don't know if the dimension of dragon energy looks like dragons or not. I don't know. I don't know, but I know that the dimension of dragon energy can go down into the dense areas when we've got real trauma to deal with. That dragon energy can go to the dense areas and help us deal with that trauma and move the energy. And that is what it's all about. So do I talk about dragons and unicorns? You bet you. And I love my dragons and unicorns, because they surround me at night, and they keep me safe, and they keep my vibration up, and I love all of it. But do I understand that the rest of the world doesn't see dragons and unicorns? Yes, I do. But that's how we have to be able to discuss it among ourselves. We have to understand what we're talking about. And then when we're out in the world, we have to discuss it in the world authentically. I don't change my role. I show up as me. There's nobody that sees me that doesn't know that I'm me. But I do it respectful of what their level of consciousness is. Again, their understanding, not are they below me, are they above me? Because a quantum physicist, his level of consciousness, if you want to look at is it above or below, they know far more than I do. I know what I've channeled and what I understand of it, but I'll hold my own with any of them, I guarantee you, because I will be me. And I will stand strong in what I say. And if I hear them say something that, you know, I get the hit on that, oh, that's right, I will immediately shift my thinking, because I'm not locked into that I know it all, because I'm never going to know it all. I'm constantly being channeled new things and brought new things through experiences with people. And if I get in a room with a quantum physicist, I'm going to absorb all that I can. And then if they're wrong, I'll call BS on it too, in a very respectful way, because they're quantum physicists and I'm not.
Good point. Good
So
point. And I love that you are who you are.
I am.
I just to bring this down to something that through my life I've had the opportunity to meet um, sports figures, people that are that there are
Yeah.
thousands just look at it and they appreciate it. Newscasters who are on the television every day, and we think we know them because we see them on the television every day. I've been able to meet all of those people in what we consider elevated positions,
Yes.
and CEOs and uh, multi millionaires. Been in rooms with them, and it all comes down to one thing: we're all just people.
All just
Period.
energy. We're all just energy.
We're all just energy. And so I walk into the room, and I don't have the titles. I don't have what they have. I don't have the adulation. I don't have the skill set that they do to do what they're doing. But I'm me,
Yeah.
and
The
that's what
one and only you. The one and only you.
one and only, and be
Yes.
able to relate to that and not get. All right. The only time I really got tongue tied was I had the opportunity to have Julie Andrews, Mary Poppins, sign a book that she had put out. My wife completely lost her voice.
Oh,
She couldn't talk, and I was a bit tongue tied, but that was one of the few times that I was. She
Julie
is
Andrews.
Mary Poppins, man.
Mary
She
Poppins. She was
is
hot.
larger than life. Not of music. I mean, my goodness,
Yeah.
all of that. And all I did was say, thank you for the joy that you brought me time and time and time again in those roles that you had. And
Through art, through entertainment, because we were talking earlier about. I'm glad you went back to that, because I have notes here. It's what I'm doing when I'm not looking at you. I'm making notes. I've got so many note cards. I have a filing system for my note cards But anyway, distraction, recreation, the rituals. When we're watching television, there's nothing wrong with watching television. As a matter of fact, I don't own a television, but there is a certain way that I have discovered that I absolutely love watching television. Now, when that can become a ritual in my life, I will have a television and I will watch television that way. But until it does, television to me is just a distraction that would keep me from having the time to do the things that where I go within, and then I can do all of this. I don't want to distract myself so that I don't go within and have the gratitude to show. But is there a ritual around television that I have in mind? You darn tootin' there is. And I've been there, done that, want to do that again. But until that's there, I don't need television in my life. Entertainment is an amazing thing. Entertainment is a way to heal. But when we've just gone to distract. And not that we don't occasionally need times where we just kind of veg out for a little bit. We need those. That's that pause that we talk about, take a deep breath, whatever. We do need pause sometimes. But when it becomes a way that you just go and for hours and hours and hours, you distract yourself, you're not finding what it is you're needing. What you're needing is the connection with self and with others. And so that's when you add. Yeah.
And there you said it before. The way to connect with others.
Yes.
Is connect with yourself. I have better relationships now, true relationships now, than I ever had before, because I know myself better.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean
you didn't stop there.
Relationships.
Yeah, and you didn't stop there though. Then you went ahead and connected to the world. We can know ourselves all day long, but if we don't take that and connect to the world again. But yeah, so when you take and you put ritual with your entertainment, whenever we can have bad rituals too. In my past life, let's put it that way, I love music, grew up playing music. I love music. I enjoy being out in that watching music. It energizes me. It brings me back to life. I connect with myself there. Now, I had this huge ritual in my life of going to hear music all the time, but it was uncomfortable, miserable, all those things for me because me being me was not acceptable. And so there was a ritual, all right. The ritual was, okay, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I? And I wasn't connecting with self there. I was getting some benefit from it, but mostly I was doing all these unhealthy things that we talk about. I was playing the role. I was figuring out what role was safe to play and then shifting to it all the time and all of those things. And so, do I want to go hear music? Am I all for going to hear music? Yes. To go hear music and go where you can do it authentically and you can connect with it and you can be yourself. And that's the ritual we need to have. So we can have rituals too they have become rituals in our lives. And we are grounding those, but we are grounding bad behaviors. And I will say bad, and I mean bad because that was a bad behavior on my part. I was acquiescing myself. I was being inauthentic. I was wearing the mask of this compliant person, and that was because of my health problems, which kept plummeting, and the fact that I had flight, fight, and freeze, all of my triggers were being hit. And I didn't know that. I didn't know energy management. So all I knew was, why are you doing this? You have never in your life let somebody else tell you how to behave. Why do you do this? And I fell into a ritualistic life that looked beautiful on the outside. And it's, oh, you do this and you do that. I went on cruises where I grounded the energy of, yes, I'm enjoying this. Is it okay? Is this okay? Can I do this? So even, we can create rituals that are not the right rituals too. We can be grounding the wrong behaviors just as well. And so just because we've also created ritual doesn't mean it still has to be authentic to you. Because I created some amazing rituals that just looked like, well, you do this and you've got this and you all do that. And it was so fake because the more I was not my own energy, the more I was checking in and can I be this and can I be that? Well, the worse my health got, the worse, but you think that's where we got into before about compromising and co-creating. Compromise is not a bad word, except for the fact that we find ourselves doing exactly what I just described. We create rituals in which we have compromised the integrity of our own energy. And so we have to be in relationship with someone that we can co-create with, that we can be who we are, and we can create that ritual. And it's on equal. It's a level playing field. It's equal ground. It's not one is dictating to the other, and we cannot dictate to someone else. And we get hung up on this. I've just got to have that person. I've got to have that person. I've got to have that person, and then they're going to be this way. When I get them, they're going to be this way. Well, no, if you just got to have them, then you've just got to have them the way they are, or they're not really who you just got to have. Or when they get there, they'll be, we've got to stop thinking that we can take people and we're asking them to fill roles again. And then you don't really have the person. You've got the role they've agreed to fill. And no, you have to co-create with that person, not ask them to compromise their integrity, and create rituals around that and ground those rituals, and don't ground in rituals that are compromising the integrity of your energy field.
See, you just solved the world's problems right there.
I try to do that at least once a day. At least once before my hot tea in the morning, a couple times before lunch.
Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal.
Well, but I love the world that we're in. I love the world we're in because this is what we talk about. This is what we deal with, and it does make a difference. And how many people I reach, I want to reach more people, and we're going to reach more people, and I know that. But that's okay. Whoever we reach, we're making a difference. And I know that. I know that. I know it. And it's also, every time we do this, we further refine and understand energy ourselves. And we further refine and understand what it is we're doing. It's like all the time we spent today. We spent a great deal of time today listening to one another. And all of us in our own minds, further refining. Oh, and this is how I need to. Oh, and I can do that. Oh, yeah. I mean, you can see the light bulbs. You can see. Well, how many of us said, "I'm taking that and using that"? How many? I mean, we did that the whole day. And so, did we spend a day on Zoom talking about what some people would be like? What were they doing? Well, what we were doing is revolutionary. What we were doing is visionary. What we're doing, and our visionary, revolutionary impact may be one person or it may be a million people, but it doesn't matter how many. It's the fact that we know this is who we are. We were all being so authentic. We were all living who we were. And there wasn't anybody there today that didn't put in a day that they didn't enjoy.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Everyone there enjoyed. And so that is living in great big capital letters. And that is energy management. We were all in our authentic energy. We were all in our authentic energy. No one there was being inauthentic. We were all in it because we all would know if they were, because we're all empaths and have all our clairs, so we can't wear masks with each other. So, so we're all very, very real and very authentic. And it is just a matter of time until our little group of people are going to be reaching more. And they're already reaching a lot of people. I mean, we're all reaching a lot of people anyway. But that's just going to expand and expand. And that's, life is going to get better and better for the whole world. And I know that. I know that's why I love what I do, is I'm so sure. I'm so sure.
It's amazing. And you always bring that energy to me. No matter when, no matter how, I'm always right there with you. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Matter of fact, Pam talked to me. We talked before this about the retreat. So we have conversations to have. But okay, we've gone almost an hour and a half. So is there anything you want to wrap up with? Any big nugget of wisdom here? How do you want to save the world?
Lord, yeah. I keep telling you, I cannot match you with the energy, with the esoteric, philosophical breakdown of everything. But what I can say is that people are looking for happiness. They're looking for love.
Yeah.
Inside first, and everything else happens afterwards. And it's all about energy management. It sounds like such a job, but it's a joy.
It's
a true joy. And that's where everyone who's listening to this really needs to get to. One person at a time, raising the level of the world. And just think, when you're dealing with people who are transcendent, who are ascended, who are there, they see life through gratitude and compassion. It's really kind of nice.
It's beautiful. Well, Scott, we have like 8 minutes before it's a half an hour, hour and a half. So why don't we take a short magic carpet ride with everybody?
Sounds great.
Yeah, you don't know how many people today were messaging me saying, "Will you take me on a magic carpet ride?" And so I'm like, Scott's coined it now. So I know I just need to turn it into a business.
I think you should.
So yes. So for those of you who wonder what we're talking about, the truth of the matter is you're experiencing some of this stuff already and you don't know it. And so what I would like for you to do is do this little meditation with me. And I just want you to be aware. And I'm going to say, we're going here, we're going there, whatever. And I just want you to feel what that feels like for you. Now, some of you for the very first time may be experiencing this and go, "Oh, that's what that feels like? I didn't know that. Oh, that's what that feels like? I didn't know that." Another personification I'm going to use is the personification that humanity uses for these things. And so if it sounds a little out there to you, a little out of your belief system or whatever, it's just a name that we've given it. It's a dimension that we're taking you to. And Scott calls it my magic carpet rides, which people usually do enjoy. So just have an open mind. All you're doing is feeling for yourself where this is whenever I say this to you, because then you're going to see that all these dimensions that we're talking about, you're already present with them. You're already going to them. They're already a part of you. We aren't talking sci-fi woo-woo. We're talking about stuff that's going on with you already, and you don't even know about it because we weren't taught this stuff. So if you close your eyes and take a deep breath, As we're going to be going high vibrational, I do want to ground us. Mother Earth, will you hold us tightly all the way to the core of the crystalline grid, please? Now breathe in again. Breathe out. We're only breathing to bring ourselves to center, to calm ourselves down, slow down the parasympathetic nervous system. Breathe in and breathe out. One more time. Breathe in and breathe out. Now, I want you to just feel where you go. Feel what you feel and notice it. Whenever I say we have arrived at different dimensions. The first dimension we're going to go to are the fairies. They are related to nature. So close your eyes and I will energetically use my energy now to take you there. And we have arrived. The energy you feel around you now. Some of you may be experiencing contact even in this dimension. I usually allow people time to stop and talk, but feel this dimension. Hello, they're saying welcome all. Thank you. All right. The next dimension we're going to is that of the Ascended Masters. Just breathe normally and come with me. We've arrived in the dimension of the Ascended Masters. They welcome one and all. And it's very important to them that no one feel intimidated by some of the names you've heard them called, Saint Germain, Lady Portia. They are energy just like you, and they're honored to have you there in their presence. You may be experiencing some very bright light. That is unconditional love coming from Source, indicating, frankly, the universe's pleasure at the fact that you're experiencing higher dimensions and are aware. The next dimension is known as merely the angels. So let us go now to that dimension. You may hear music upon entering that dimension if you're clairaudient. We are there. And the angels are very pleased to have us. This may feel quite familiar to you. Many people have angelic energy around them all the time. And you might be now realizing, wow, those are angels? That's what that energy is I'm feeling? Yes. And now we're being called to the dimension of the Archangels. So breathe deeply, come with me. Again, you may have heard music if you're clairaudient. You can feel the energy is like a glove coming in close, like a cocoon. That is unconditional love. Feel the bright light. Let's see who's available. Archangel Gabriel, will you come forward and let us feel your energy, please and thank you. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Thank you, Archangel Gabriel. Will you step back? Archangel Metatron, would you come forward, please, so that we may know your energy and recognize it? Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Archangel Metatron is playing Magic Carpet Ride for me right now. Oh, he has a wonderful sense of humor. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Will you step back, please? Archangel Uriel is present. Please come forward so that we may know your energy. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. More music. We've got the whole world in our hands. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, if you will all come forward, please, and give us your blessing, we would appreciate it. All those present, please. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Now you feel the energy perhaps coming in tightly around you, like a glove. This is the dimension of the Archangels. Dimension of energies that are here to serve and guide, and they're our control towers. And they're here to raise the vibrational frequency of the planet so that we can all understand, come to the level of consciousness that we are energy. We are one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And they all said, please come again. Thank you. This is the energy I work in all the time, for those of you who are feeling it. For me, this is normal. And it can be for you too. Any of these dimensions can be. We are multi-dimensional, high vibrational beings meant to experience our lives to the best and highest good. Now there's bright, white, golden light shining down upon us now. Wisdom and unconditional love from Source. Let it come in through our crown chakras. All the way down through our energy columns, all the way down to Mother Earth, grounding this experience. And then surrounding us, creating an aura, a field of energetic integrity, bright white golden light. Maintain this type of energetic field of integrity every day, and you will attract to you that which is supposed to be in your life, which you decided on in your own free will before you came here. A beautiful heaven on earth, which is merely the life you wanted to have. Understand that when you surround yourself with this golden white light, the gold reflects and deflects other energies that are not resonant with yours. So when that asteroid belt of energy that you have to maneuver is there. This energy, when you keep surrounding yourself with this, keep calling it down to surround you, it will deflect and reflect so that you can get through those denser energies that you have been calling to yourself, till you get to that clean, pure energy of the vibration that you've now risen into. And when you are around other denser energies, this is the energy that you surround yourself in, and you can create an integral quantum field for yourself. This is why you have to know who you are and how you are going to show up, and you set your perimeter. This is your perimeter. And you knowing who you are is setting the vibrational frequency at which you are within this energetic perimeter. We can know this or we cannot know this. We can do it out of not understanding, a human term known as ignorance, which has the wrong connotation. Or we can do it from a place of knowledge and understanding. But energy is always moving, and we are energy, and life is always moving. So whether we are aware of it or unaware of it, we are in a quantum field at all times of our own. Know yourself, know what you want for yourself, choose, make a conscious choice. That is conscious awakening. There's nothing mumbo jumbo about it. I was born in this vibrational field that we're in right now. I've been in it my whole life. This dimension has spoken to me my whole life, but I didn't know that. Now I do. And I'm so very grateful. This is where my gratitude is at every day, because it's changed my life. And had I known that I was existing in this dimension, in this field of energy, had I been consciously aware, but I am now. And that is why you are here, to experience the different fields of energy, to recognize this isn't mumbo jumbo. I've been here before. I know this energy. This is when I'm doing that project that I absolutely love, that lights me up. I'm doing that hobby I absolutely love, that lights me up. Oh my God, this is that place. Yes, it is. This is you. And you are meant to be plugged into this energy all the time. We are meant to live this energy. And we do not have to go into the denser energies. These bodies do not function well in the denser energies. We are unhealthy in the denser energies. This planet is in chaos in the denser energies. That is proof that we were not designed to be in those denser energies. So it's not speculation. It is bringing order to chaos. It is turning existing into living. And they've said I can say it in great big capital letters. Thank you. I'm happy to take anyone on these magic carpet rides, because it's not a magic carpet and I don't take you there. I've just been given awareness of the energetic space and can show it to you. You can return to these energetic spaces anytime you wish. It is simply set your intention. And if you want to know more about that, we're happy to help with that too. So let's go back down now. Coming back down Thank you, Archangels. Now through the dimension of the angels. Different light, different energy, different music for the clairaudient. Now the Ascended Masters. Who wish to also surround us with their love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now down to the fairies, which are the elementals. They exist with our nature. And they recognize so many of you who turn to nature for solace and to find yourself. The fairies are very glad to see you here. They want you again to feel their energy. As the bright white light shines down here as well. In gold. Now we come back down into ourselves. And we ask Mother Earth, ground us, ground us, ground us all the way to the core of the crystalline grid. Please and thank you, please and thank you, please and thank you. And we ask that our auras be sealed, the integrity be maintained, that we keep this bright white and golden light. And we spread freely through Source, unconditional love, the highest vibrational frequencies of white light, blue light, and the violet flame to the whole world under grace, to raise the vibrational frequency of the planet. Please and thank you, please and thank you, please and thank you. And so it is, and so it is, and so it shall be. Namaste. So, I hope you all enjoyed that. Hope you all experienced the different dimensions, Scott.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Scott, you may want to talk a bit about the experience so anyone who did experience it will not feel like they're, if you don't mind.
Oh, that's fine. Last week she took me on the magic carpet ride, and I say that because these were sensations that I had never felt before. I had been to the seventh plane up and down, but I hadn't experienced them in the same way. When we went to the fairies, I felt them around my base, right around my hips. They were dancing all the way around. I felt them. They were light pressure all the way around. When I went to the Ascended Masters, I felt them right here in my gut. There was that energy, that power, that understanding, and those that we revered that have ascended. When I went to the angels, I felt the angels on my back. I felt this weight, almost like wings on my back, on the shoulders. And then when the guardian angels came through, my entire back, my arms, and when Metatron came in, I felt this heavy. He is immense energy I had never felt before. It was astounding. One of the things, if I'm allowed to, we talked to dragons. Okay, so again,
I didn't take you there, but next time. We'll go next time.
We'll go next time. But the understanding of the personification of the energies is absolutely amazing, and they manifested in a different part of my body each and every time, each and every level when I was introduced. And I'd never had these sensations before. So it was enlightening. It was, and I deal in light all the time, but I had never dealt in these kind of energies. And I have a pet now. It's a green dragon who keeps peeking his head around every once in a while. When I was working with a client, he kind of peeked his head around. I said, "No, not this time, not yet." And
have you asked your dragon its name?
Um, I haven't. He's a little bit shy, and that's okay. And I'm
Okay.
waiting for him. I'm just waiting. But it was those energies. You know, you talk about mythology. You talk about um, you want those things to be that there are so many recordings of this in so many different ways that those energies are there. They they are just they have been manifested so many times. They've been seen so many times by so many different people. And for me myself to be able to see, feel, and hear that was absolutely amazing for me, and it was um, really compelling. And it kind of brings a smile to my face every time I think of it because of those just that understanding and that there is nothing in those feelings and that those body sensations. There's nothing to fear
No.
because it's nothing to be afraid of. They are just energy, and how we deal with them with respect in any way. Anytime we deal with energy, we deal in respect for the highest,
Mutual respect.
mutual
Mutual
respect
respect.
for the
Because
highest, the highest, the
they have it
best.
for us too. Yes.
Yeah, and it just um, for me, it changed my perspective. You always talk about the perspective
Right.
and things viewed from a different perspective changes how you see it, and you can't unsee it anymore.
You
So
cannot
for me,
unsee.
those planes have been demystified and explained, and I now understand them fully. Not fully, but a deeper understanding of them than I had before.
And once we understand those things and we understand that it really is intention and it really is understanding that we are energy, that is magical. It's extraordinary. And so, but it's only that to us because we didn't know. It's really the ordinary and it's not magic. It is energy. But it is magical to us because we've not been living with this, and I don't like the word power. We've not been living within the scope of our ability to do this. We didn't know. You can't embrace and use abilities you don't know you don't have. You don't know that you have. And so we end up, I really cringe when people say, oh, the power we have now. No, power is something you use over other people. We are powerful in that we are energetic, but no, we have abilities and capabilities and clarabilities, but we do not have power.
Beautifully
We are,
put. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Well, you all, I know this is an odd time to quit at like 10 till, but I'm not going to worry about it because Scott's on the East Coast and it's late and we have been working all day, as he said. And he danced his little heart out today, although he was off screen and we couldn't see him. We saw your hands occasionally.
Oh, okay.
I know you all are like, you all said you worked and you're talking about dance parties. And well, that's because we are living in great big capital letters and we are doing what we came here to do. We are in our authenticity. And was it work? Yes, we did a lot of work, but we did a lot of living at the same time because the work you do, you're living. The everything you do, every moment you are living. So choose. Be consciously aware. Are you living existing? Are you living other people deciding? Are you living a role that somebody else built for you instead of it being a role tailor made for you? Are you wearing that armor? Are you living with that heaviness? Are you living with walls around your heart? Are you living with barriers instead of perimeters that people can see in? How are you living? As long as we're breathing, let's be living in great big capital letters. Always.